All right, we are looking at the ground. So, the test for morons. This is indeed a test. I'm just going to try something a little different today. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to have this overlay go the full 4 minutes because this is a test and I am streaming both to YouTube, which I typically will deal with live, and I am also streaming to Twitch. And if I can ever figure out how to make Facebook Live work the way I want it, I will also have it streamed to the Skycron channels. But this counter is quite nifty. I'm just sort of testing it right now. It's kind of a neat new device. Now the question is do I need to keep this here for 3.5 minutes or don't I? There are many, many, many interesting questions that are worth talking about. But so far, I'm at a pretty good bit rate. I'm at 25 frames per second, and I actually haven't had any dropped frames. So, thus far, I think we're actually in pretty good shape, but I have all these cables, so I'm a bit afraid to get up. So, do I want to wait the 3 minutes and risk getting up, or don't I? Actually, you know what? This headphone system is wireless, so I can check the connection and see how we're doing. Let me just put this doodle-doo here. I don't think I'm tethered to anything in particular. Follow the sultry sound of my voice as I traipse through this studio, which I have not completed yet, and with this wide-angle lens that I will soon change, it will not look quite as shitty as it currently does. That having been said, see how we're doing. Do we have a NAS counter? Or do we not? Ooh, pretty. Pretty. I'm going to say hello to myself. Hi to myself. We are a professional video production company. Yet, in the cases of late night tests like this, we all act like complete idiots. So we now know that this works. So now we shall test the quality. So I know that this works. And those of you that have been tuning in to the wonders that are music, if you want to call it that, with the Prophet 5. I'm going to sit down. I look like a little bit of a slob today, but that's okay. We all have our good days and our bad days, don't we? Now, the 64,000 ruble question is, can I bring this over here so that I may a live switch without everything toppling over like a house of cards? I don't feel comfortable with this. I think what I might have to do, am I going to be pulling shit this way? Probably. I don't know where this one comes from, and I don't know where this one comes from. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm going to figure this out. What I will do is I will yammer at the camera, and then I will turn around in a fit of artistic brilliance and spasm on about nothing. And you will change the channel and wonder why you have wasted your precious time and your precious days staring at a counter, listening to some moron prattle on about nothing in particular online with only 25 seconds left to go. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Oh boy, is this anticlimactic or what? All right. Am I caught on anything? Am I caught on any cables? Yes. And we are out in one. Boop. All right, here we go. So I don't really like the way that just kind of cut and went away. So I need to figure that out. So I look like hell. I have a pimple on my chin. Got my ass kicked in jiu-jitsu, although I did get 2 submissions. So, well, they were close to submissions. I mean, okay, so I didn't get 2 full submissions. I got, I guess I kind of got one. 2 of the people I rumbled with tapped, but we're all tapping. Anyway, whatever. All right, so This looks a little different than what I normally do because I have a new toy, which I am not actually going to mention the name of this toy because I thought the manufacturer was a complete fucking jerk. And through a series of comedy of errors, I ended up getting the device anyway. So, ha ha ha, and so on. So, when I am broadcasting these Profit 5 videos, I have a very small home studio that I do it in. I don't do it in the same type of professional studios that I do Go Nitro in because this is kind of value added content, and I'm really just trying to show people the way I kind of deal with music in the Prophet 5. And the whole idea is that it is not, I don't want to say not as polished as the Skycron studio stuff, but I want to kind of humanize the studio where we do this work for television and Go Nitro for Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, etc., and all the other stuff because there are real people here. I am the CEO and I am a creative person, and I've been very fortunate to get paid to do what I love. That having been said, these live streams are done at home. They are done out of my place, and for that reason, and because I'm not doing it in a full television studio as I would with the other productions that we do, I have some space constraints in the room that I do it in. And the way I had it set up before, I'm trying to see if I can kind of ease things up because this room is really small. This room is really small, and I haven't completed renovating it yet. And these are things that kind of bug me. But because it's small and I don't have a lot of space, right now I have a big camera on a big tripod, and then I have another GoPro on another tripod, and then these big lights to light my currently tonight fucked up face. And it just every time I go in my little streaming studio space at home, right, because it's not in the studio and in the commercial studio, I trip, right, because there's cables everywhere and I can't move, and I'm kind of going trying to figure out where the hell I'm going to go. So the result is between the mixer and the keyboards and the Focusrite and all the other technical crap to make things sound as good as they do, it takes up a lot of space, so I can't really move. And I also can't be particularly mobile, right? So for now, I'm doing stuff with the Prophet 5, and I will continue to do stuff with the Prophet 5 because it's popular. And I will be showing some making of videos for the music for Season 3 and Season 4 of Go Nitro on Fox. So I'll show you how some of the music is done because I've been getting questions about that. But the bottom line is, with all this long-winded verbal diarrhea, I don't really want big, huge cameras and switchers and all this stuff eating up an already small studio. So I ended up getting a small device that is basically a small portable switcher that I can basically put in my lap, and it's an Android-based device. And I would, right, because every time I set up a live stream, it's a little bit of a rigmarole, right? I set up the lights, I set up the sound, then I have to turn all the cameras on. They're huge. I have to make sure that they all have the same settings. I have to run it. I have to run it through a converter box, and then I have to run it into the switcher, and then the switcher runs into a Blackmagic Ultra Studio HD, and then the Ultra Studio HD via Thunderbolt 3 goes into OBS, and then I have to connect with OBS, and with OBS I can only really stream one at a time unless I use Restream.io, which is a fantastic service, but I don't really feel like paying 16 or 40 or however many dollars a month it is when I can have a device that does it for me. So basically what I'm trying to do with this device that I have is I want to see if I can continue to do these music streams in a quality that I find acceptable, right? So that there isn't too much of a quality hit, right? Because YouTube and whatever your path is, it's going to introduce elements of compression and so on and so forth. So these are things that I would like to avoid. But if I've got 95% of the fidelity that I have with the big professional Blackmagic setup, if I can do it in a smaller device, and if I have it maybe a 5 or 10% compression audio quality hit, but it still sounds good, but I gained 70% of my home office back, well, that is a compromise that I'm willing to take. So tonight I'm testing this device. Right now I am currently on, it's been a long day and I'm like, I wonder what streaming services we're on. Yeah, so tonight I'm on YouTube as per usual, and I'm also doing my first test stream on Twitch. As things go on, I'll have all the nice overlays and the graphics and everything back. Tonight is just a test. So for any of you that happen to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning watching this shit, good on you. You got a girlfriend maybe, or a boyfriend if that's your proclivity. And if you're a female, the reverse is true. So the cool thing about this is in theory, I can switch between two different sources. Now, right now I have it set up. I just have two cameras because right now I'm just trying to test it to make sure it works. And hopefully there aren't any dropped frames or anything like that. And right now the audio sounds okay, but there is a little bit of a lag on this unit. So I'm actually not listening to what's coming out of the unit because it's going to drive me crazy with a half-second lag. But as it stands, it seems that the quality is pretty good. So if I can get overlays and the sound, and it took me no time at all to set up. It took absolutely no time to set up. I basically turned the thing on, I plugged in my video sources, and I was done. Normally I have to spend like 20, 25 minutes or half hour or longer. And if I want to have a chat set up, then, I have to have like an overlay, and then I have to have a browser source, and sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't. And then before I do a live stream, I have to troubleshoot it. And I mean, my whole job, I do a lot of troubleshooting because I work in television, and I don't really feel like doing it. It's something that I do for fun. So if you care to bear with me, and the reason I'm looking down is because I'm actually looking at the device because I'm sort of getting used to it. And it's very, very very well-made device, even if the manufacturers are a bunch of unprofessional jerks. But be that as it may, and I look very tired because I am very tired. So I'll go back to HDMI 1. So one of the things that I think is really cool is, Astro Media says, good evening. This is awesome. Can I display? Here we go. Hello, Astro Ray Media. Good evening. Because I didn't know that anybody was going to be watching. You never really know what's going to be happening on the internet, do you? But this is nice because I can do it right on this device, and that's my Siamese cat providing running commentary in the background. All right, Zero. My cat's name is Zero after the Nightmare Before Christmas. And the Japanese fighter jet from World War II when the Imperial Army were the bad guys back then. What other things do I have here? Hi to myself. That would be me. There we go. All right. And I am, so this is very cool. So I am actually now, hi to myself. Yeah, I know, eh? Thank you, Astro Ray Media. And Astro Ray Media, I'm sorry, I'm screwing up your name. Astro Ray Media says, cheese humor. Yes, indeed. So my other GoPro, I'm showing it again. So my other GoPro is dead. So I guess I will look at this camera because my main camera I have running on USB power. So this one isn't going to turn off. The other one I don't want to say I don't care about it, but right now I don't care about it because I'm just trying to test the setup and I'm sort of out of plugs, at least for now. And then if this works, which it seems like it is, then I will adjust accordingly. And normally I don't say or use other forms of mitigating speech, but I am unbelievably tired. It has been a very long day. Let's see, there it is again. So in between running the agency and the production company, 4 times a week I do martial arts. So I do jiu-jitsu twice a week, and I do Krav Maga twice a week. And it is about an hour and a half, an hour, 45 minutes drive to each of those facilities. So, but you know what? That's the price you pay for health. Just make sure you go to bed earlier. So, without further ado, I am going to see if I can find a way to bring this over my head so that I can put this somewhere where it's not a trip hazard. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter having this camera connected at this point because the phone's dead. Or not the phone, the GoPro's dead. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to attempt, however gently, to put this somewhere. And I'm going to do it. I'll find a way so that there aren't these ugly cables going anywhere. So I'm just going to test this and say, I'll just, I guess, put this here for now. It's probably not the greatest place to put it. What I'll do is I guess I'll get some longer cables and then kind of tape them on the floor. So it's sort of a semi-permanent setup, if you want to call it that. Yeah, so this is cool. This is really cool. So I guess what we'll do now is we'll see how everything sounds. So right now I have my Prophet 5 connected to this device by line in. So it's coming from my mixer with this wider, because I don't have the overlays and all this stuff here right now. So you can see how crappy the room is sort of in kind of 1970s mode. I mean, to be fair, I suppose the Prophet 5 kind of fits that motif. But by the way, this chat thing is really cool. So if anybody is watching, or Astral Ray, if you have more comments, please do mention them and I will show them, because this is very cool. It's actually very useful for me as a test, and I've seen you commenting on my other videos, so I thank you for that. So, like I said, I'm going to wind up having the overlays and the nice graphics, but tonight this is just a test for the device. I have never used this device before. I just done all the updates that it needs and basically turned it on. So I want to see how it sounds. So right now I just have some pretty basic patches. So we'll see how it sounds, and then we'll go from there. And then if it sounds okay on playback and there's not too much compression and the signal to noise ratio is at a level that I consider acceptable, then I'll start using this instead of the big switcher and everything else, right? Because it's just it takes up so much room. All right, so let's give this a go and see how it sounds, and hopefully we won't have dropped frames either. It says that there's no dropped frames. Whether there are or are not dropped frames in the broadcast, we'll see. Right now, I'm in theory at a solid 25 frames a second. Oh, we've dropped to 24, but that's okay. 24 is good. So let's see. Astral Ray Meteor. Well, I just found out that 84 inches is 7 feet, and wow, that's tall. Too tall. Way too tall. Yeah, well, you know what? I can't disagree with you there. Unfortunately, I am not that tall. I wonder if I can make this a little... a little bit... if I can make this a little smaller. Because I know I haven't really started playing yet, and I apologize. But I did say that this was a test. So what I want to do, okay, here we go. So this looks good. I'd like to make it a little smaller, because I find it looks a little tacky, and I don't like how big it is. So let's see, I'll bring that down here. That looks a little bit more manageable. And I'm going to change the font too. I don't know if you can see this. I'm assuming you cannot. But you never know. Oh, that looks nice. Comments font. Is this too difficult to see? Ugh, that font works as a... That font works nicely as a title, but not That looks a little better. That looks a lot better. And, yeah, you know what? Really? Okay, I was going to say it doesn't give me... Yeah, I'm just kind of going through all this crap here. Do I want blue? Oh, blue is nice. You know, I think I can deal with blue for now. Cool. Comments. Do I want to make this more transparent? I don't know if I want it more transparent. I don't know. You know what? I'll see what I think later. I like a little bit of transparency. I might wind up knocking it down. Oh, can I turn this off? That'd be cool. I don't really like how that looks. I don't like it. I don't like it. Fuck it. We'll leave it at red for now. I think it's red. How does that look? Looks like shit. How about white? Does that look good? Nope, that looks like shit. Alright, well black it is for now and I'll figure it out later. Done. Now we shall see what it looks like. How does this look like? Ah, here we go. Another comment from Astleray Media. Here we go. If, and this is a big if somebody was a contortionist pianist with flexible toes, longish toes even, they could play both keyboards at the same time. Yeah, well, I mean, this is assuming that it's their toes that they're using to play the keyboards with. You know, that joke about the... Well, let's see. I have both keyboards on, and, yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. I have the reverb module on. Now, again, I'm not actually listening to this through the streaming device itself. I'm actually listening to it directly from the mixer into a earpiece, a wireless earpiece. So I won't actually know until later. Okay. So let's see how that sounds. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to do something about this. I'm gonna need to do something about this this cable shit. I guess I could just put it on my lap. And then I'll just have to be, oops. There we go. We went mono for a sec because the hole wasn't tight. Ork, that's what she said. Yeah, I need to figure out a way to kind of mount this a little bit better. But so far, so good. All right, so keep my knees tight and see how we do. This isn't the Prophet 5 right now. Sounds pretty good. Here's the Prophet 5. Whoops. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah. I know I'm cheating. I'm using the presets right now. Ew. That sound is beautiful. On the bottom keyboard, were you using the onboard sound? Oh, thank you, Astral Ray Media. I'm not sure. I can see your comments. They're coming in real time. I don't know if you're referring to the piano. The way I have it set up right now is I actually have the bottom keyboard. I can use it as a trigger, so later on I can have it running through Fruity Loops or, or Contact or whatever. Right now, this is just the onboard piano. So this is this here. This is the Korg, so that's obviously this bottom keyboard. So that's what I'm using right now. There are other sounds on this. I mean, typically I just use this as a controller, although it is useful to have the piano sound here, right? And I have a reverb module on. I mean, frankly, I usually will have the reverb on because I like reverb. But the nice thing about it is that I do have the ability to control it. I typically, if I do anything on board at all, it's usually just a piano. So. It was so beautiful, I thought it might have been Spitfire or something. Yeah, you know what? The Spitfire library is awesome. I use it all the time for Go Nitro and the film and television scoring work that I do and am often asked to do. It's not what I'm using right now. This is the straight onboard Korg. And I'm just, I'm just using a cheap reverb module that came with my Tascam. A good reverb module can make even the crappiest, cheapest run-of-the-mill digital piano sound great, especially if it's running through decent EQ. And I'm sorry for the swallowing. I'm a little off today, and I probably have the microphone a little too close to my mouth. So, it's like, blah, 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 sound like my fucking dog, but that's okay. I won't sound like this all the time. This is a nice patch up here. But this is the Prophet 5. So has this kind of Vangelis sweep. Also works nicely with reverb. Again, I'm cheating. I'm using presets. But I will wind up doing some stuff on programming, because programming the Prophet 5 is fun. It's one of the cool things. This is one of the nice things that you get with analog synthesizers, that you can adjust. I mean, you can adjust this stuff digitally too, but it doesn't quite have the same tone. You know, you can make it a bit more mellow. Give it a swell. Ooh, Space Age. So. Astromedia asks, does the Prophet require all the algebra to create those sounds? No, actually, it doesn't. It's not like the DX7, the Yamaha DX7. Actually, fun fact, when I was in high school, I used to drive my math teacher fucking nuts, because I just could not wrap my head, at least contextually, around algebra. But I had a DX7, which was given to me, and the DX7 was basically, anybody that knows the DX7 is very, very difficult to program. But the FM synthesis, algebra is really your friend, and I had this book, so that in case if anything happened to my patches, I had actually worked out basically the frequencies and all the information that would make up the information in the patch. Because of the way that FM works, I was able to actually work it out algebraically, and then I had written down all my work. So if something happened and all my RAM patches fucked up and everything kind of went kablooey, I could just go and look at the math that I had in the scrapbook. And I kept this scrapbook with me, and I brought it with me to school, because if I thought of a sound, I could at least go, okay, well, this waveform is probably going to be this, and I can probably approach that and get these parameters, and then, I could go home later and work on the DX7. Well, my math teacher found this book, and it drove her crazy because everything was right. And she realized that it was just a context thing. Because what I would do, if any of you remember algebra, like grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 algebra, where they tell you to simplify, and then you have to show your work. X equals whatever, and then you have to break it down. And what I would do is I would end up getting it marked wrong, because I would show my work, or I would do two things. I would either miss a step but get the answer correct, or what I would do is I would work the question all the way with all the steps to the correct answer, but I didn't know when to stop. So what I would wind up doing is I would basically, when I got the correct answer, I would keep working back to the original question that I was supposed to simplify. So instead of finishing where I was supposed to finish mathematically, I didn't know I was supposed to stop, and then I ended up bringing it back to the original question that was printed on the sheet, and I was tearing my hair out, and my math teacher was tearing her hair out, and it was just driving her crazy. But I think she did realize, because we kept in touch years later, and she realized that it just the context. I needed context. Without context, it didn't mean anything to me, and I couldn't apply any of that information. So the DX7, this is long-winded, but the DX7, you don't, if you want to come up with sounds in your mind's eye, algebra is, I don't want to say required, but it kind of is, right? Because that's the only way that you know how to get from A to B, so that you have a waveform and your oscillators are behaving the way you want them to. I mean, you can certainly fuck around until you get something that you like. But the DX7, there weren't a lot of people that would bother doing any programming with it, because it was A, math heavy if you really wanted to visualize your sound in your mind's eye. And two, even if you didn't, it was extremely difficult. I mean, either way, it was hard. But people like the patches, so Top Gun, that low bass bell, that's the DX7, and the infamous DX7 electric piano patch and all this kind of stuff. So, but the Prophet 5 doesn't need any of that. It is an analog machine, and it is controlled by voltage only. VCO, a voltage controlled oscillator. So basically the way it works is the more voltage I apply, I mean, this is an incredibly simplistic way of putting it, but the more voltage I apply to what we would call an envelope, the louder or more of a parameter it gets. So if I just have a straight filter envelope, say, for volume, the more voltage I apply, the louder the note, or the louder the note in the patch gets, if that makes any sense. And then there are other parameters that control how bright it is, or how sonorous it is, or how, insert parameter, or how much noise it has, or whatever. And then that's controlled by voltage too. So you go through all these different parameters, and then the more voltage you apply, the more you get of that. So to give you an idea, so here's, I'm going to pick I'm actually going to start with this. So I'm going to get an overhead camera at some point so that I can actually cut to what I'm doing on the Prophet 5. So you can actually see, like a lot of other people have. But right now, as I say, it's just a test. But we'll use this as an example. So right now, you can hear it all. I'm actually gonna turn the attack to 10. So what that's doing, I'm actually gonna kill that for a sec. So right now I'm in the amplifier. This is not a straight. This is a different type of. So basically, the amplifier is just, I'm applying voltage to. I'm literally applying voltage to the signal. So if my attack is at 10, I'm saying I want to apply the least amount of voltage for the longest amount of time before I go from 0, which is no volume, you can't hear anything, to full volume for the patch. So if I end up hitting this key here, you'll notice it takes a long time before you can hear it at its full volume, right? So what I'm doing is I'm basically providing a spigot, and I'm saying control the flow of water, control the flow of electricity. I don't want to hear the full volume. I want to hear the volume go up over time. And by doing that is I'm applying voltage. I'm basically saying apply more and more and more and more and more electricity, basically, so that until I get to 100% volume of the sound. Conversely, if I take in the amplifier section, if I bring the attack down to 0, now I get a very quick. So you'll notice that it's extremely rapid. So as soon as I hit the key, you hear it. There's no delay. There's no gradual
gradation, if you like, from from the volume of the note at 0 to 100. And the reason for that is because I'm saying, give it all the voltage you want. You can start with a hard sound. So that's pretty much how it works. And if I go into the filter, I can also control the shape of the sound. I'm going to bring this attack in the amplifier down to, I'll put it in the middle, maybe about 5. So that's kind of nice. And I'm doing the same thing basically when I go on the filter. And that's one of the cool things about it. So if I go into the filter here, so this is the cutoff here. So I can control, basically this controls the, not the tone, but how harsh and bright it's going to be. So at 10, I get a very sharp, brittle sound, as opposed to at 0, it's a lot warmer. And I can control these parameters any way I want in real time, right? Because all I'm doing is, again, I'm applying electricity effectively to these parameters. It's just when I do it with the amplifier, I'm saying, okay, deal with the electricity at this particular area, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm basically rerouting electricity through the oscillator, and that's how the sound is made. So if I hit a note and I hit cutoff, or I twist the knob for cutoff, it gets really bright. But the other cool thing is, in real time, I can control these parameters. I don't actually necessarily need to program them in. So if I'm comfortable with a degree of performance, then I can absolutely do that. And then you get these kind of nice Moog type, wow type things. So if this is a nice chord. So if I start at 0, right, you hear that, you get this kind of nice wow. Same deal here. You know what I mean? And I also have resonance. So if I put the cutoff, if I place the position the cutoff knob in the middle, I can also control resonance. Right? So this is, I'm dealing with higher frequencies. And in the higher frequencies, I can also control the cutoff and get some pretty interesting sounds. Kind of Carl Sagan-ish, but you get the general idea. I guess this is supposed to be a electric piano of some sort.
For the last few minutes, it's been sticking to the left channel. We'll see if we can... Oh, here we go. Yeah, because this came out. Astro Media says, for the last few minutes, it's been sticking to the left channel. Thanks so much. Yeah, you know what? That's because this keeps pulling out. I have, I can physically see it here. Well, Astro Ray Media, let me know if you're hearing it in both channels now. You should hear it in both channels. Actually, didn't even notice. See, that's the drawback. I wish they would fix the firmware on this thing so that I can monitor in real time straight from it. But I can't. So I'm going directly from the mixer, but there's actually I have a cable going directly into the line in. So if you are now hearing, please let me know, Astroray, if you are hearing both channels now. You should. You should. So actually, you won't know I'm talking. I guess I better play something. Cool. Says it's fixed. Excellent. Well, I think this test is pretty successful in my view. I think it seems like this is the way to go. I feel really good about it. And yeah, so I guess I will be back tomorrow or the next day to do it in this manner, and I feel pretty good about it. So that is the plan, and we shall go from there. All right, well, thank you for putting up with me with this test. Like I said, I've never used this thing before. I literally was trying to just find a way to get this going and see if it was easier. Now, I don't know how good the quality is. I'll know that when I play it back and listen to it properly on a device. But as long as the quality is pretty much, what I was looking at, or at least 85, 95% of the way there, I can have my studio back, which is great. So, and I'm sorry I keep looking like I'm looking at the floor. I'm going to set up more cameras to catch my eye. I'm actually holding the device, which you can actually see. And there's a few other things that I kind of would want to deal with. Like there's this cool thing here, but I mean, obviously I'm not dealing with the count now, but what I don't like about the count and what I don't like about some of these overlays is that it just pops up. There isn't a nice fade or anything, and I find that looks kind of ugly. I don't really like that very much. There are other cool things here. I mean, when I stream sports, the scoreboard, there's like a scoreboard in 2018 FIFA World Cup. FIFA World Cup, yeah. In this country, Canada really is not a soccer nation. It really it really isn't. How do I change the teams? This is kind of funny actually. Team info. Okay, just for fun. Team 1, Colombia. Well, I have a British family and an Irish family, so I'm going to change this to England. I know you probably can't see this. I'm going to update it. So I've changed that. Now you should see that it's updating to England. I'm going to show you what happens when England would end up being in a match with Canada. When England would be in a match with Canada. I'm looking at the wrong camera. And you will never, ever, ever see this in FIFA. You'll never see England facing off against Canada. I mean, yeah, they'll put up M&M packages saying, "Oh, Canada's in the World Cup," or "Canada's in FIFA," and by the time the candy comes out, they're already out. We are not a soccer country. We're just not. I mean, if we wanted it bad enough, I guess we could. So this should be funny. All right. Little fantasy football, literally here, kids. England and Canada. Here, you you want to see what would look like? Here's my impression, and I think it would be pretty accurate as to what you would be getting if you had if you ended up having a Canada versus England match. Here's what it would look like.
Oh, England has 13 nothing, 20 nothing, 30 nothing, 40 nothing. Oh my God, 50. I don't even think you can have it go minus. Yeah, Canada. we are not a soccer country, man. We are not a soccer country. But if ever England were to wind up in a FIFA match with Canada, I don't think that there are quite enough numbers available in existence to show just how badly England would kick Canada's ass. It's just it's like other countries. I mean, it's like other countries trying to beat Canada in hockey. You know what I mean? It's the only countries that generally have a shot at it. And I'm not jingoistic at all, believe me. USA is one of the only countries. I mean, basically, who's going to beat Canada in hockey? It's a pretty short list. The only countries I can think of that could beat Canada in hockey and have a fighting chance at it. USA, obviously, Russia, Sweden, Finland, Czech Republic, and that's it. I mean, what are we going to have the Indonesian hockey team besting Canada in the World Juniors? I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Canada, Indonesia is never going to beat Canada in hockey any more than Canada is going to beat Indonesia in badminton. It's not going to happen. 98-0. You know what? That doesn't seem quite realistic enough to me for a Canada versus England match. How high can we go? Can we go up to like 999? Can I put this in manually? That would be cool if you could. Can I do this? Can I do this? You know, the battery power on this device is actually pretty good. Because I've been live streaming this bullshit for almost an hour. I've had no dropped frames, at least according to this. I've been fairly consistently streaming at a bit rate of around 4,000 kilobytes per second, so about 4 megs a second. And I'm not even hardwired. I'm using Wi-Fi from my like cheap modem that I got. I mean, this is pretty good. I honestly, I gotta tell you. And I have other devices that are streaming video right now. So there are things that are sucking up bandwidth. And I don't have the and where I live is kind of rural, so the infrastructure for internet here, we don't have super high speed yet. So my upload speeds are actually my upload speeds are fairly respectable, which I guess is what I'm dealing with. My upload speed is about 10 megabytes per second, which is actually fairly respectable. Sometimes I get 12 or 15 if I'm lucky, and then my download speed is like I think 50, 25 or 50. I mean, I don't really download a huge amount of crap. I mean, hell, my PlayStation 4 isn't even connected to the internet. Unless there's a patch that I absolutely need. I'm kind of old-fashioned in that regard, but I still have my Nintendo. Let's see. I suppose I should end this broadcast, podcast, live stream. Boy, do I sound old or what. But I am having too much fun with this incredibly pointless monitor. Ooh, 69%. This is, I gotta tell you, I mean, I've had a couple of HDMI sources going, and it's live streaming, and on top of that, I've got audio drain coming into this, and I've got really, it appears to be really good quality video. I have to check this after, but I've been streaming, according to this, for 54 minutes and 47 seconds, and I have Wi-Fi on, which is a huge drain on resources. I have multiple HDMI sources, which is a huge drain on resources. It's connected to the internet. It's streaming. It's encoding. It's basically doing everything that should bring a device to its knees. and I still have 68% battery life. I mean, I really thought that I was going to be going for, 15 minutes and that the fucker was just going to die on me and give up the ghost. But, here I am coming up to an hour. You know what? I've been streaming for 55 minutes. Let's waste time and go for the full hour, the full Monty. I said I wanted to be in bed by 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Well, as far as 2 o'clock is concerned, I'm totally fucked. But I can potentially be in bed by 3 or 3:15. So I believe I can spare 6 minutes. Can I spare 6 minutes? Can I spare 6 minutes? At least I don't actually have to really go anywhere tomorrow until 4 p.m. so I can sleep in like some kind of an unemployed addict from, upstate New York that's sleeping with 20 men and looks like Joan Jett on a meth kick. Anyway. All right. Well, seeming as we are burning up minutes unnecessarily, we shall see how we are doing with this. So, all right. So, right now, our score for FIFA Canada versus England, and Adam will probably laugh at this because, I think the women's teams might have a shot at it. But the men's team, no. No, not in this country. England, 295-0. Now we're up to, can I get up to 999? More importantly, can I get up to 999 in 4 minutes? So right now I can go up to, it kind of sucks that you can't put it in manually. That's kind of crappy. Oh, I can do a time clock. That's cool. Is there a countdown? Yes. Okay. Please set the countdown time. Well, we'll set the countdown time for 400 minutes. What does that do? Holy shit. Okay, I don't think we need I don't think we need 400 minutes. Is it 4? Oh, there we go. 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Reset time when it's counting down to 0. Team info. Yeah. All right. Can we get up to 999 goals? Although, I gotta be honest, I'm starting to get a little bored with this. Okay, cool. I wish there was a way. Over 9,000, a very believable. Oops, I should probably get. Yeah, my soccer scoreboard is covering shit. I have to get rid of it. Sorry. Now we can have some nice. 0-0. A very believable soccer scoreboard. Yeah, well, it's not 0-0 anymore. It is well into 350 England versus 0 Canada, which in the world of English football is very believable. In fact, I think it would be closer to Astor Ray Media. Over 9,000. Yes, over 9,000. 9,000 England, Canada, 0. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, in Canada, we have some pretty arrogant people here that seem to forget that there are only 30 million people that live here, and we are not a major power in the world, largely because too many of our businesses have a shitty attitude. We used to be respected worldwide, but now we've got too many crybabies and whiners running the place, so that is kind of crappy. So, I wonder why I can't.
I don't really know why I can't. I mean, I'm sure I will figure this out as time goes on. HDMI out, streaming mode, uh, video source out, video source. Oh, okay. See, what I like is if I mean, I don't have an SD card in here right now, so I can't actually see any of. Boy, it doesn't take long for this stuff to get dusty, does it? I'll leave that and click to switch. What I don't really like about this is what bugs me somewhat is, are there other overlays I can do? Because I want to see if it'll. Okay, let's see. I will. Do I? Okay. I need a subtitle. Please enter a subtitle. My spoon is too big. Subtitle. Rejected.
My spoon is too big. My spoon is too big. My spoon is too big. I am a banana. I am a banana.
Okay, so. Ooh, there's a little bit of a glitch there. I don't really like how that looks. But at least it's letting me fade. So that's cool. What else do I have? Lower thirds. What do we have for lower thirds? I will take. Oh, I have rolling caption. I will take rolling caption and I will shamelessly plug website of company on TV movie film program. Okay. Text font. Text font look like shit. So we will fix so it don't look as much like shit. Text alignment. Do I want it on the left hand side or do I want it on the right hand side? I don't know what side I want the text on. And so I'm going to take the text and I will figure out where I want to put it. So right now, you can't see it because I haven't activated it. But what I would like to see is if it is entirely possible to take the thing here and have it set up in such a way that it fades in nicely and goes away with a fade, and not an ugly pop like some kind of a 1970s porno made in Canada. How does that look? Skycron.com. You get professional content, but when the CEO decides at 3 o'clock in the morning to live stream in his house, you get a ghastly, pointless, and highly effective waste of time. For all your waste of time needs, please make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/Skycron and watch this pointless, idiotic, brain dead, dipshit broadcast. Why, there's plenty of content, of course, that has all sorts of interesting things, but unfortunately, what we have going live is not one of them. However, if you have an innate need to burn brain cells without consuming mind altering, illegal, or mildly entertaining drugs, this is your best and final option. Yes, at 3 o'clock in the morning, on this channel, you listen to individuals such as myself drone on and on and on and on and on until you quietly expire. You'd be surprised how often this works. That part I stole from Air Farce.
I have a. Oh, look at all this. Look at all this. Oh, I went over an hour. Is anybody still watching? Hello? Oh, what other stuff can I put on here? I have all these ugly overlays. Lower thirds.
Rolling caption. All right, well, let's see what we're rolling. I put the skycran.com and then I put a bunch of spaces like a fucking idiot. Hey, why does it keep putting a period there? Fuck off with your stupid fucking period, you
fucking fuckface. I don't want the period. Get rid of it. Here we go. This looks marginally respectable. Yeah, marginally. I have an M in the wrong place. Keeps putting a fucking stupid thing. Put an M. M. Stupid thing. I want an M, and I want it now. Still okay. All right. SKYCRON.com space. But no, I don't want a period. Stop putting a fucking period. Leave it alone. Add to dictionary. There. I made my own word. No. That's not what I said to do. Thank you. No, get rid of the period. Why does it want to keep putting a fucking period? I don't want a goddamn period there. It keeps putting a period, and I don't want one. I don't want a damn period. I don't. See, it keeps putting a damn period. Well, I guess you can't see because this isn't live. And you thought that people that ran television companies were mature 100% of the time. Shows how much you know. We actually have fun here. Okay, go nitro.tv. Bye-bye. I will change this to prompt. It would be nice if one could have some kerning with this. All right, let's see how this looks. Is there a way to move where this is? I would like to. I don't want it. Apacha! Okay, how do I turn this on? Oh, here we go. Ooh, looky. But here's what I don't like about it. You can't move it. I really don't like that you can't move it. So you don't really have any kerning at all that you can kind of have it so it's not right at the top of the screen. I mean, it's a basic device. If you really want to do character generation, I guess you could just use a Chiron and then run it out to this and then use this to broadcast. But still, that's pretty. All right, well, whatever. What else have they got? What else do we have? There are image overlays, but I don't have an SD card in it. So I may insert no overlays. Screw that. No, I don't have an bleh. Bleh! Lower thirds. What other? I gotta be honest, a lot of these lower thirds are kind of ugly. Like they look like cable access television. You know? Cable access TV. Low budget. Please stop. Send help. There we go. Low budget, please stop, send help. And here's my new ugly title. Cable access TV. Low budget. Please stop. Send help. All right. Well, it's 3:08 and I'm now down to 60%. So, I think we can consider this a success. So, I am going to sign off the Moron how not to break. I guess the joke's on you and on me. For fun, I named this test broadcast How Not to Live Stream Like a Moron. And guess what? I live stream like a moron. All right, so have a good one. Clearly this device works, so now we can do some stuff that is a little bit more serious. All right, well, have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Fuck if I know. It's 10 after 3 in the morning.